Hey everybody! So, as you're probably aware, I put up a video asking people to send me in more questions for another Q&A, and initially I did say that I was going to wait 2 weeks before I answered the questions, because my logic was, because my videos don't get as many views anymore, I should give it plenty of time just to make sure I've got absolutely all the comments, but actually I realised, thinking about it, that my logic should kind of be the reverse of that, and I should be doing it sooner because my videos don't get as many views. I mean, that would make more sense if I was getting all the views I used to have. So yeah, I realised I had my logic mixed up. So, I decided that I'm going to answer your questions a week earlier than I originally intended. So, that's good. I mean, it's always good to get things earlier than you expected, isn't it? I remember it gives me such a joy when packages I've ordered arrive earlier than I expected them to. It gives me such joy, because I'm so lonely. Anyway, let's get to answering some of these questions. Anime Doom of No D, that's probably not how I meant to say it, but anyway, asks, have I seen the anime-inspired web series RWBY? That's probably an acronym for something. If so, what are my thoughts on it? And if not, they highly recommend it. I haven't seen it as of yet, but I did run into a fan at a MCM, I think last year. I think it was last year. There was like 2 MCMs ago, so I think it was a year, like just under a year ago. I don't know, but I did run into a fan at an MCM con who I think recommended that to me. I think that was the series he said. I could be wrong, and if not, he's probably going to correct me in the comment section, and I appreciate it. But if not from him, I have had it recommended to me before, so I will check it out. I just haven't watched it yet. Ragnakira1311 asks, am I at university or college? If so, what am I doing? I actually get asked this question a lot in real life, actually, given my age. It's an understandable question. No, I'm not in university or college at the moment. I'm not in any form of education as of right now. Okay, the next question comes from my good friend Chibi Jissy. You might remember that she and I and our friend Afro Otaku, who also asks me a question later on, we do the casual anime talks together, and while I appreciate the contribution, I really do, I kind of find this to be a little bit ironic, because those two of all people can get their answers instantly, but I appreciate that they're contributing to the video and helping me out, giving me things to answer, and maybe these are things they want everybody to hear the answer to, so I appreciate it. It's just, there is an irony in there. Anyway, her questions are, question 1, since Higurashi got relicensed by Sentai Filmworks, is there any other anime I would like to see get relicensed? That's hard to say really, because I mean, licensing over here works differently to how it does in the States. I mean, we get the dubs from various from the various companies in the States, but the you know, what might have had a dub in the past and is licensed to be distributed over here might no longer be licensed to be distributed in the States. But I'm overcomplicating this in any case. I don't know really. I guess anything for Kids Destroyed? This is a hard question for me to answer, because I don't know. I'm really out of the loop when it comes to this sort of information. Like, I don't know who owns the licenses to what. Does anybody currently own the licenses to Mahoramatic? Because that's a series I'd like to see get re-released on DVD, because that is a really, really incredible and really deep series. If you can get past the nudity, it is a really, really amazing series. At least the first season is. The second season is crap. Which ironically is the only one that's actually licensed over here in the UK at the moment, which I just find weird. The second season is licensed but not the first. That's weird, but I guess Mahoramatic then. Question 2, to elaborate on my question from last time, because she did ask me a question in the previous Q&A video I did, and I didn't really get it because of the way it was worded. She's asking, what anime do I think is really not as bad as everybody made it out to be? An anime that I felt wasn't as bad as people made it out to me, I guess I'd go Dragon Ball GT. I mean, I know by and large a lot of Dragon Ball fans hate GT, but like, I never really had a problem with it. I know a lot of people think it's like, it was a step backwards, it was a regression, but I don't know, I kind of enjoyed it. I kind of thought there was just as much to like about it as there was to dislike about it. But again, that's my opinion, and I know I'm in the minority on this. And I don't know, maybe it's just nostalgia talking because, you know, when I watched it I was younger and maybe it was all, yay, Dragon Ball Z sequel! You know, maybe if I watch it again as an adult my mindset might change. I don't know. Yeah, as it stands right now, I'd probably say Dragon Ball GT. If not that, I would definitely say Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Because Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and I'm being completely serious when I say this, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX has the greatest foundation for a plot in any form of fiction ever. It's a boarding school built on an island to teach teenagers how to play a children's card game. That, to me, is the greatest foundation for anything. Like... I mean, it makes sense. I mean, card games seem to do everything in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe, and, you know, I kind of like the more light-hearted nature of it. I know people don't like it because it's a bit more light-hearted than the original series, but I actually kind of like that because there were times in the original series where I'm like, guys, this is still about a children's card game, right? Why are we putting, like, Yugi into a duel for his very life where a bunch of, sword blades are going to cut his blinking ankles off if he loses? Oh wait, I'm sorry, they were dark energy discs that would take him into the Shadow Realm, because for kids. But yeah, I kind of like the light-hearted nature of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I think people need to go into it with a less serious mindset, honestly, and I think there's a certain charm to it. I think it's so ridiculous, so out there, so mind-numbingly stupid that it's brilliant, in my opinion. So yeah, Dragon Ball GT and Yu-Gi-Oh! GX are my answers to that. Question 3. So, am I looking forward to Little Busters? Yeah, when I get around to it, yeah, I'm looking forward. I always go into a series looking forward to watching it to some degree. I mean, some people tell me, no, don't do it, it's a trap. But you know, I try and go in with an open mind. Anyway, 4. Would I do like a top 5 underrated anime? I'm not really sure I could do that, honestly, because like I don't know a lot of anime that I watch would be considered underrated, because most of the anime that I watch come recommended from fans, and if they're coming recommended, they've got to have at least some semblance of a fan base. And if you've stuck with me long enough, you know what I think is the most underrated anime of all time, and I might do a video elaborating on that for both newer and older viewers at some point in the future. But I really don't know, I'm sorry to say, I really don't know. Maybe, but it doesn't look likely in the foreseeable future. And finally, question 5. Here's a crazy question. If someone threw toast in your face, what would you do? I'd say, cheers, thanks very much, and then I'd eat the toast. I mean, no sense in letting good toast go to waste. I mean, yeah, it's a minor inconvenience that they threw it in my face, and I don't know why they did, but hey, free toast, so why would I let the toast go to waste? Austin Bates asks, if I could see 2 anime crossover, what would they be and why? Yeah, I got asked this question, I think I got asked this question at least in the previous Q&A video, and I really didn't know what to give an answer to. Yeah, I'm not really great when it comes to this department. Okay, I have 2 ideas. One isn't so much anime, like 2 anime crossing over, but the other kind of is, so I'll go with the one that's the 2 anime crossing over because that's what you asked. If I were to do it, I'd do it like Fate Stay Night, you know, summoning, is it 7 servants? I think it's 7 servants to fight for the Holy Grail, but the people in each of the servant classes would be legendary anime characters that fit into that mold. Like for the Saber class, it would be, and now I've completely forgotten every single swordsman in anime ever. I don't know, Trunks. Probably not the best choice, but that was the first name that came to my head because he did initially carry a sword. What is it? Something like that. But you get the general idea, like Fate Stay Night, but with anime characters rather than people from various forms of mythology. The second idea I had, I would love to do like an anime Super Sentai crossover. I know there's various Super Sentai references in various anime, but I'd like to do like various Super Sentai teams with like the anime characters filling the roles. Like if you follow me on Twitter, you probably saw when Linkara put up his episode of History of the Power Rangers for Power Rangers Samurai, I put up that image of anime Shinkenger, which admittedly I could have done a bit better on the choices, but you know, it's that sort of thing that I'd like to do. That I'd like to see. That I think would be fun. Life for the Win asks, "Hey Jack, are you going to plan on watching classic anime from the 80s and early 90s, like," and I'm gonna pronounce these names horribly, I'm sorry, I've never seen any of these things, Saint Seiya, Tekkaman Blade, or Kasham Robot Hunter? I want to know because you did your Slayers review and I liked it, and I want to see more classic anime reviews from you. Yeah, I probably will look at all those series at some point in the future. Like, I have no preference for what era an anime comes from, so yeah, I'll probably do a load of those in the future. So yeah, just keep your eyes peeled, and thanks for the recommendations. Ichijo Pony Pony asks, 1. Do I wish to see Shantae in Smash Brothers? Yes, I do. I would very much like to see Shantae in Smash Brothers. I think she'd work really well in that environment. 2. Have I played Splatoon for the Wii U? Not yet, but I would really like to. I've heard so many good things about it, so I would like to play it, but I don't have it as of yet. Leonardo1 asks, 1. What is my favourite Lantern Core and favourite Lantern Oath? Alright, my favourite Lantern Core in the Green Lantern lore is probably the blue lanterns. They'd probably be the ones that I think I'd fit in the most with. The Lanterns of Hope, basically. They're who I'd think I'd get chosen for as this sector's representative. I know to start off with, the rings are a little bit lame because they don't work properly unless there's a Green Lantern around, but I think they fixed that now. Did they fix that? I'm very behind on my Green Lantern comic reading, very behind. So have they fixed that now? They not. People will let me know in the comment section. And as for favourite Lantern Oath, I mean, I do want to say the Blue Lantern's Oath, but come on, the Green Lantern's Oath is, it's the original, it's the most iconic, it's the one everybody knows by heart, Brightest Day, Blackest Night, no evil shall escape my sight, let those who worship evil's might, beware my power, Green Lantern's might! Or was it Green Lantern's Eye? It's so long, I need to get back to reading the comics. Anyway, 2, have I seen the Green Lantern animated series? If not, he strongly recommends it. I've seen 1 episode, and it was alright. I liked the episode that I did see, but I don't know if I'll watch the whole thing anytime soon, but I might give it a go. I might see what it's like. 3. Do I prefer adult cartoons or harem/ecchi anime? Okay, I'd like to make a point here that just because an anime's harem doesn't mean it has to be ecchi, and the fact that you would think that they would really does not give me hope for the future of the anime industry. Because, I have watched various harem animes that weren't needlessly ecchi. That in fact barely had, if at all, any ecchi content in them. I know these aren't the best examples because they came from visual novels with sex scenes in them, but later ports of the games did not have sex scenes, and the animes themselves did not have any sexual content. But anime like Canon and Air, and heck, even Clannad, to use an example, they were harem animes without being being really gratuitously ecchi. So, you can do a harem anime without being ecchi, I'd like to make that point, but if we're including harem anime that are ecchi, or adult cartoons in this question, I'm going to say neither, honestly. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say neither. And by cartoons, I assume you mean Western cartoons. So yeah, I'm going to say neither. Honestly. Question 4. What is my favourite video game of all time and my least favourite video game of all time? I actually got asked both of these questions in my previous Q&A video, but the answer's still the same. My favourite game of all time is, and always will be, Final Fantasy IX. I just love that game so much. I have so many memories tied to it. I love it so much. I think that's such a great game. And least favourite game of all time also comes from the Final Fantasy franchise, and that would be Final Fantasy XIII. By contrast, I absolutely loathe that game. I hated everything about it. Worst game I've ever played. And I've played Sonic 06. Oh, I'm going to pay for that statement. Question 5. What versus match would I like to see in Screw Attack's Death Battle? Okay, I also got asked this one in the previous Q&A, and I think my answer at that time was Kirby versus Pac-Man, because both characters revolve around eating. But after seeing Kirby versus Majin Buu, I think, you know, if Kirby can beat Majin Buu, then he can probably beat Pac-Man. But now I've got a new idea for this, and it's one I'm really excited about, one I get really giddy about because it makes my inner child do backflips, basically, at the excitement at this. What I'd want to see from Death Battle, I want to see Jack from the Jak and Daxter franchise versus Matrix from Reboot, you know, the adult version of Enzo. Because, think about it, Renegade versus Renegade, that would be epic, in my opinion. Somebody has pointed out to me that Jack probably would have the advantage due to his eco powers. Kind of true, but you know, you've got to give my, like, you know, Enzo has his, Matrix has his cybernetic eye, which is connected to his gun, which helps him, you know, with his aiming and killing things, and depending on venue, if they're gonna fight, well, I know when they do Death Battle, they do it on a neutral plane, so, yeah, it all depends on venue and whether, Matrix has access to his ability to reboot to, you know, a world's, or, you know, namely Jack's world's weapons and technology and all that. So, you know, I don't think, I wouldn't count my Matrix out so easily, but I probably would still give the advantage to Jack in that. But I would love to see that because my inner child will just explode with joy if they did that. That would be amazing to me. And sixth and most important question, why am I so sexy? Oh, so if you think I'm sexy, you haven't seen a lot of people then. Pure Zooks! The second half of it is in all caps, so I assume I shout it. Pure Zooks! Asks, 1, what is the worst series I've ever seen? I'm assuming you're talking about anime series, so... I don't know, because it's always... I can change this, like, daily, because it always comes down to a toss-up between either Love, Hina or Heaven's Lost Property. Like, those are two of the worst series I've ever seen, but if I had to pick one over the other, at this point I'm kind of leaning more towards Love, Hina as being the worst series I've ever seen, because... And I know there are worse out there, and I'm glad I haven't seen the ones that are worse, but Love, Hina, oh my gosh, it's one of the worst things I've ever seen. It's one of the most poorly written... poorly presented, just, it was, when I was watching it got to the point where I was like, I can't do this, I can't do this anymore, but I kind of have to, well I don't have to, but I want to finish it for review purposes, but it became a struggle just to watch an episode when I was watching that, so I'd say Love, Hina is probably worse, so, and I know there's even worse than that, and I don't plan on watching the ones that are worse than that, ever. What's the most overrated series that I've seen? I don't like using this word, honestly. I don't like using the term overrated. I think that is used way too often on the internet and used in certain times out of context. But then again, I guess saying something's overrated comes down to a matter of opinion at the end of the day, so I guess it can't really be used out of context. But anyway, yeah, I don't like using this term because I feel it's overused. I feel the term overrated is overrated. Yeah, so I don't really like using that word. I know what people think I'm going to say. I know what people think the answer will be, but I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Yeah, so I don't really feel like there's a safe answer I can give to this because I feel like I'm going to upset people either way, and we all know how anime fans can be. They're rabid. So yeah, I don't really think there's a safe answer I can give, but I will say to long-time viewers, it's not the series you're thinking. Question 3, what is the worst series that I like? Are you saying like what series do I consider a guilty pleasure? Oh gosh, what series that I like? It's probably gonna be Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, because even when I was singing its praises, I admitted it was the most ridiculous foundation and most stupid concept for a series ever. That's why I love it, so it probably is the worst thing that I enjoy, but that's why I like it. Okay. Giant6160 asks, hi KHF, I also make YouTube videos, and you are partially the reason I make videos. Only partially? Well, I've never been so offended in my whole life. I should be the entire reason you make videos. You offended me, sir. I'm joking, of course. I'm honoured that I could be part of the inspiration. I would like to know if you would be willing to do a collaboration video with me. I'm sorry to say I don't really do collaboration videos. I have done voice work on other people's videos. I'm a regular voice in Mega Man NT Warrior Abridged, a series which I've actually held up with getting in my lines. I'm sorry, Zion. And I've done frequent voices in Chibi Jissi's projects, but I don't really do collaboration. I mean, you know, I do things like casual anime talks with Chibijisi and Afro Otaku, but yeah, like really, it's only really doing like, you know, sort of things with close friends of mine. So I'm sorry, I don't really do collaborations. Very, very sorry to say. Taylor Scal, hope I said that right, asks, 1. Of all the Dragon Ball / Dragon Ball Z arcs, which is my favourite? Oh, so GT. I can't have a favourite arc in GT. Okay, my favourite arc in the Dragon Ball franchise, and I'll get more into this when I do finally review this saga, it's probably the Android saga. I think that has the most going for it, and that's the one I remember the most fondly. I think if Dragon Ball had ended with the Android saga, well, you know, at the end of the Cell saga, I think it would have ended on a high note. But yeah, I'll get more into that when I actually review it. 2. Which anime / game would I say is my guilty pleasure? Well, I've already said what anime I consider a guilty pleasure. So, games I consider a guilty pleasure? Okay, I know I'm going back to the Final Fantasy franchise, and I'm sorry, I love this franchise so much. Games I consider a guilty pleasure, I'd probably have to go with Final Fantasy X-2. And not for the reason you think! Not for that reason. Not because it's got all the girls doing cosplay. No. No, it's not for that reason. It's because, well, I kind of think there's a certain charm to it. I mean, I like seeing, you know, a world, you know, how a world goes on after the end of its main story. You know, I like seeing how Spira's getting on after the defeat of Sin. You know, I like, you know, things that people complained about, like the mission-based progression, like, that never bothered me because I felt that was an interesting approach to the RPG formula. The dress sphere thing never bothered me. I mean, changing classes is nothing new to the Final Fantasy franchise. I mean, it was done in well, I can't really use Final Fantasy 3 as an example because we didn't get any form of it in the West until the DS remake. But Final Fantasy 5, you know, which, you know, I know we didn't get the SNES version, but we got the PlayStation 1 version in the West. You know, Final Fantasy 5 did that, and people sing that game's praises. Okay, maybe you have a problem with the way the garment grids are presented, and yeah, yeah, I could see why that's off-putting, but really, like, when I play RPGs where I can multi-class, like, I only end up using a couple anyway, so, you know, to have a grid where I can put them down in a certain order, that actually works to how I play those sorts of games. So yeah, really, I actually enjoy a lot of features of it, but you know, I know I'm in the minority, so it's a guilty pleasure for me, and not for that reason. Not for the reason you're thinking. 3. Now that there is a fan translation out, do I intend to try Ace Attorney Investigations 2? I think if I was going to try the fan translation, I'd like to have a physical copy of the game. In hindsight, I should have picked up that copy I took a video of when I was in Japan. You know, if not for the fan translation, then just for the novelty value, because hey, if I'm going to pick up like Pokemon Green version on the Game Boy, the version that was never released in the West, you know, just purely for the novelty value, I don't know why I didn't do it with that game, but what can I say, hindsight's always 20/20. But yeah, I mean, I could always import it, I guess. But yeah, I think I'd feel more comfortable if I actually had a physical, legal copy of the game, you know, if I'm going to play the fan translation, but you never know. 4 was my favourite and least favourite voice actor. If I see this one as controversial, then I can ignore it. I don't think it's controversial. I mean, you know, there's some voice actors I prefer over others, but I wish no ill will upon the ones I don't particularly care for. I'm sure they're perfectly lovely people, and I wish nothing bad to happen to them. You know, I just don't particularly care for their work. Favourite voice actor? Gosh. I'd say favorite voice actor. I'd go with There's one in mind that there is who's just come to mind, but I'm not sure I should say him because a certain character he voices, people get touchy about this character's voice actor for whatever reason, and that's why I don't want to say it. So, alright, let me pick someone else. Alright, alright, assuming you haven't figured out who the one I was going to say was, I'll go with Kyle Herber. I think Kyle Herber has a lot of range to his voice. I think he's very good. I think he's very talented. Least favorite voice actor. Okay, I have nothing against him as a person. Again, sure, he's a lovely guy, but I don't particularly care for Grant George because I've said in previous videos he just sounds like he's stoned all the time. So yeah, but I have nothing against him as a person. I'm sure he's perfectly lovely. If he were to come to an MCM convention or any other kind of convention that goes on over here, I probably would ask him to sign things he's done voices in. What, you've never seen a hypocrite before? But yeah, I'm sure he's a lovely guy. I just don't particularly care for the things he's voiced in. Well, the roles he's voiced in. Anyway. 5. If I can make my own game / anime / comic series, what would it be about? I actually am writing my own book at the moment. I am actually writing a book that I'm hoping to get published. I mean, I've done several courses in creative writing, so I am writing a book I'm hoping to get published, but I don't really want to go into more details than that. You know, that's all I really want to say on the matter at the moment. David Timmer asks, which E3 conference had me the most excited? I didn't really watch a lot of the conferences, honestly. Like, I really just listened out for what announcements came from them rather than watching the conferences themselves. That's just how I view E3. If you want to know what game announcements got me the most excited, I'd probably either go with, and I know this is a cliche answer, but I'd probably either go with either Fallout 4 or the trailer we got for Kingdom Hearts 3, but let's face it, we're going to be waiting another 10 years before that game comes out anyway. So yeah, I'll probably go with the announcement of Fallout 4. I know I tweeted that I'm more excited about Shantae Half Genie Hero, but we knew that game was coming. That was a that was a game that was crowdfunded like ages ago. You know, we knew that game was coming. So you know, that's why I don't really qualify it as an announcement. But I'm glad that they had a playable demo there, and you know that they're far enough along in development that they could show a demo. So that's good. So you know, but for games that you know weren't officially announced, I'd go with Fallout 4. Question 2, which character do I want to see in Smash? Well, obviously I said before that I'd like to see Shantae in Smash, but there's another character that I think would work really, really well in Smash. But he's not technically a real video game character, and I highly doubt this would ever happen. Like, Shantae is more likely to happen than this guy, but I would love to see Wreck-It Ralph in Smash Brothers. I think that would be amazing. I think there's so much possibility there for what you could do with him. So yeah, I would like to see Wreck-It Ralph in Smash Brothers, but that's less likely to happen than Shantae. So you know, speaking realistically, I'd go with Shantae. CWH Ichigo asks, 1. Am I a fan of card games? For example, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Cardfight Vanguard, etc. I used to play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! In my early teen years. I have not played in a long time, but I used to play a lot of that. I've played Magic the Gathering a couple of times, but I can never ever remember the rules, and I've never played it in any serious fashion. Like, every time I play it is my first time playing it, basically, because I always have to have it taught to me for the first time whenever I play it. And I also used to play the Pokemon card game back when Pokemon was you know, at the height of its hype. Cardfight Vanguard I've only ever heard the name of. I don't know a thing about it other than its name, so yeah, but I used to, but I don't really anymore. 2, whether I said yes or no to the previous question, have I heard of the card game? Oh gosh, I'm gonna say this horribly. I'm sorry. I'm gonna botch this name. I'm very, very sorry to all the fans of this card game. Have I heard the card game? Weiss, Squatch. If not, they highly recommend it. It's a really fun game. Obviously, from the fact that I can't even pronounce the name, you can probably tell I have not played it. But if it's really fun, I might give it a go. In the future, like like I said, I don't really play card games anymore, but I might give it a try. It might be fun. 3. Do I watch the newest anime as they're airing, if I'm interested in them enough, or do I wait for certain anime to get dubbed before watching them? If this is too personal, whatever, I don't mind if you skip this one. No, this isn't personal at all. No, personal questions would relate to my family life or my personal life, but this isn't personal. This is just asking about my viewing preference when it comes to new anime coming out. The waiting till it's dubbed policy no longer applies because I've gotten much more used to reading subtitles now, so the waiting till it's dubbed policy doesn't apply anymore. So yeah, you don't have to worry about that. But at the same time, I don't really like watch a lot of series as they're coming out because I've got a backlog of other things that I need to watch that fans have recommended. So I focus on watching them, and quite honestly, a lot of modern anime are becoming a bit samey for me, especially considering that stupid fetishy mote can't speak today moe art style is becoming more and more commonplace. But I'll be doing a video on that at a later date. So yeah. Yeah, so I don't really watch series as they're airing, and when they do air, I kind of wait for the hype to die down a bit before I watch a series, because, because I know how anime fans can be if you criticise a series that is currently in the prime of its hype, even a tiny bit. So yeah, I kind of wait until everything's calmed down with them. 4, final question for now. Do I plan on making a top 10 favourite anime series list at some point? I know I did this back on my old channel, and that list has obviously changed quite a lot as I've grown and matured. But like the thing is, though, that list can change often as you get older and your tastes and things change and stuff. I mean, no, like I said, my list has changed a lot, but in a couple of months it will probably be entirely different. And yeah, it'll be difficult for me to do an actual top 10 favourite anime series list. And some people are probably going to suggest that maybe I do one by the year, like my top 10 favourite anime list 2015 or whatever, but I can't do that because people just seeing the title will probably assume I mean the top 10 anime of 2015. And and then they see anime that came out years ago on the list, and they'll be like, "What the heck is this?" Actually, they'll use much ruder words, but anyway. But yeah, so that would just lead to confusion. So it's not really a list that would be easy for me to do because, that list for me changes so often. So I'm not really sure it's something I can do. Afro Otaku asks, again, ironically, no, I appreciate the contribution, asks, 1, any future games that I'm looking forward to? Fire Emblem Fates. I'm very much looking forward to Fire Emblem Fates at the moment. I do plan on getting both versions of the game, and I'm very much looking forward to both of them and the DLC pack for choosing the neutral path. So yeah, Fire Emblem Fates I'm looking forward to. 2, what are my thoughts on console wars? I think as far as console wars go, it used to be fun. Like before the days of the internet, it was it was fun. As kids we'd debate about what was better in the schoolyard, but it was lighthearted. It was fun. It was just kids teasing one another. It wasn't anything too personal. I think since the internet has come around and we've seen now that the rabid fanboys have a voice because of the internet, it has become way more serious than it should be. I think people get way too uptight about this sort of thing, and honestly I prefer to stay out of it, quite honestly. I'll just enjoy playing what I enjoy playing. 3, favourite Guardian and favourite Avenger. That's funny because I've got posters for both Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers Age of Ultron behind me. Favourite Guardian? I am Groot. Favourite Avenger? Oh, that's a tough one actually. Who is my favourite Avenger? I'm probably going to change this answer immediately after I stop filming this, but I'm gonna say Vision purely for the line, "Well, I was born yesterday." Purely for that line alone, I go with Vision, but I'm probably going to change that after I after I finish filming this video. 4, would I... sorry. 4, do I think Full Metal Alchemist is a necessity for any anime fan? I'm not sure I'd go as far as to say it's a necessity, but it is one that comes highly recommended, I'd say. I mean, I still haven't watched Brotherhood, I need to watch Brotherhood, but, you know, the original series, and I know how popular Brotherhood is, so, you know, it must be good. You know, either series you can't go wrong with, I think, and I think the ones that come highly recommended. I wouldn't necessarily, I don't really want to say any series is a necessity because it all comes down to personal taste at the end of the day. But Fullmetal Alchemist is one I would say comes highly recommended at the very least. 5, crazy question. Why did both you and Chibi Jizzy end your line of questions with a crazy question? 5, crazy question. What shouldn't be paired up with gravy? Given that I don't like gravy, I would say everything shouldn't be paired up with gravy because I don't like gravy. It's to do with my sensitive taste buds because of my Asperger's. Because for people who don't know, people who have Asperger's syndrome have at least 1 or 2 senses that are really like hypersensitive. For me, it's my sense of taste and my sense of hearing. So yeah, because of that, I don't particularly care much for gravy, so really I'd say nothing should go with gravy, but I know I'm in the minority. Riva Lee asks, have I seen an anime called, and I'm going to say this wrong, I'm sorry, Kotora-san. It's a romantic comedy, only 12 episodes long, about a girl who gets bullied. Oh, that's sad. Because of her ability to read minds, and upon transferring to a new school, she starts making new friends. Oh, well, that's good for her. No, I haven't seen it, but sounds interesting at the very least. A problem of bullying isn't one I've seen too often in anime, so that's interesting. So I might give that a go. So thank you very much for the recommendation. Legend RQA asks, all questions are directed towards Jack, not KHF. Well, like when I referred to it as Ask KHF more questions, I meant just in a general tone of what people know me as, you know, what my internet alias is, but I was always planning on answering them out of character. If I was going to answer them in character, I would have said so in the video, just for future reference. 1, my old YouTube channel was removed before I could make a final thoughts on Gurren Lagann. Could I do that briefly now? Yeah, I liked Gurren Lagann. I mean, I know for stupid plot reasons I don't have KHF talk about it, but anyway, I loved Gurren Lagann. Gurren Lagann was a really good series. In fact, I cosplayed as the adult version of Simone to a convention a couple of years ago. So yeah, I really enjoyed Gurren Lagann. Gurren Lagann's a really good series, and maybe I'll elaborate more on this in an out of character video at some point in the future. But yeah, I really loved Gurren Lagann. Gurren Lagann's great. 2, will I ever do remakes of my older top 10s? Some of them I will, and some of them I will not, because, like I say, some of them would be difficult to do, like, say, my top 10 favourite anime list, because, like, list changes so often, but some of them I will do. Some of them were very good concepts, and I will revisit them at some point. So yeah, some of them I will. Some of them are probably best left forgotten, much like most I did on that channel. 3, does anything... does anything else... Oh, I can't read today. 3, does anyone else in my family watch/care about anime? Well, my cousin, I don't know if I can use his real name. Let me know in the comment section if it's okay for me to use your real name, mate, because I know you watch my videos because I know you've got nothing else to do. My cousin, who many of you know as Yuki, he watches a lot of anime and stuff. But a lot of the ones he watches are ones I've recommended to him. So he's my anime buddy. He's who I talk about anime and stuff with. As far as my immediate family goes, no, they don't watch a lot of it. Though they do like Studio Ghibli films. They love Studio Ghibli, but they don't really watch you know, anime in the same way that I do. But at the same time, they don't have a problem with me watching it. So that's good. So that's nice. So yeah, my family don't, but they don't have a problem with me watching it. 4, what originally got me into anime? That's really hard to say, really. It's hard to say. I don't think it was a specific series per se. I mean, I was introduced to it through, you know, things like Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z and stuff, but I think what got me into it is I think it's because of my Asperger's. I find people with my condition, our imagination tends to be a lot more vast than a neurotypical person, a person without Asperger's syndrome, who from henceforth will be referred to as an NT. I find a person with Asperger's, their imagination is a lot more vast than an NT's. Now, not that there are no NT anime fans. Of course there are. Of course there's plenty of them. But I think we're willing to accept we can more easily accept the more obscure side of anime, and I think that's why it's so easy for us to approach it. And I think that's probably why I approached it in the first place. It's because my imagination is a lot more vast. But again, I know there are plenty of NT anime fans out there. I talk to plenty of NT anime fans, but I'm just saying, for somebody like me, that's what in general tends to attract us to it, I guess. 5. It says, I've been watching your videos since 2008. Why do I keep coming back? Honestly, I could ask you the same question. I don't know why you'd keep coming back to the crap I put up, but I appreciate that you do, but I honestly don't know why either. Anthony Gamer UK asks, 1. I like your videos and you're my top 10 favourite YouTuber. Well, that's not a question, but thank you very much. I really appreciate the support. 2. What is my favourite anime and my favourite game? Well, I've already said what my favourite game is. My favourite game is Final Fantasy IX. In fact, I picked up the soundtrack while I was in Japan, because it's cheaper getting it over there than it is over here. Okay. Again, this will probably change in a couple of months. This will, the answer to this will probably be different, but my current favourite anime, keep in mind that's only current, this is probably going to change at some point. Current favourite anime is probably Oh My Goddess, but again, that's probably going to change in a couple of months, so don't take that as an absolute. Just keep in mind that's what my favourite is currently. Jamie Yano asks, 1. When did I have the falling out with Haruhi / when did I realise it wasn't my thing anymore? Okay, this is the elephant in the room, isn't it? This is the thing I will kind of have to address at some point. I'll probably discuss this more in casual anime talks, but I think it's just as I became more of an adult, really. I think it's just as I grew up, really. I just grew out of being as fanatical about it as I was. And I mean, it's as I grew in my faith as well. I formed less of an attachment with materialistic things. So, it was just really as I grew. Really, it was just growing up. And honestly, I look back at that phase and I can't help but do this really when I look back at that phase, because I know we've all done it. I know we all go through that phase at some point of obsessing over something to unhealthy heights, but it's when you look back on it, it's embarrassing. You feel so ashamed of yourself for becoming like that. But that's a video for another time. The point is, it just happened as I got older, really. It's hard to pick a specific point, but it just happened as I got older and as I grew in my faith. On this in a really gangster style. 2. Are there any more past shows that I've watched that I feel I no longer like? Ooh, that's hard to say. Ooh. I mean, there's a lot of things I liked as a kid where I look back on it and I'm just like, why did I ever like this? But that's how it's like as a kid. That's hard to answer really, because Haruhi was obviously the big one. So I don't want to give a cop-out answer for this one, but I really can't recall. I guess most things like Shonen Jump, with the exception of like Dragon Ball, because that was a part of my childhood, and I know I went through a rocky period with that, but we're on good terms again. We went to couples counselling. I guess anything Shonen Jump. I mean, I have nothing against it. It's just I can't keep up with anime that are like 300 episodes long anymore. Even though I'm watching every episode of Dragon Ball ever created. That's a different situation. So yeah, I guess I think Shonen Jump, I just kind of outgrew Shonen Jump, but that's just me, and I have nothing against people who like those series. 3. What were the aspects of Japan that I liked / disliked in comparison to my own country? Ooh, that's hard to say. Ooh, that sounds like it should be a video in and of its own right. I liked how much more polite people were in Japan compared to over here, particularly in London. Not that it's too bad in London, but people by and large in general were a lot more polite in Japan and a lot more willing to help, even if there was a language barrier. Because I barely know any Japanese at all. I know like 1, maybe 2 phrases, but like even if they can't you know, even if they can't speak English too well, they'll at least try and help you and try and do things in a way that, you know, make actual physical gestures to help you to understand. That's one thing. That's, you know, that's something I did like compared to over here, because over here, like, you know, while there are people who would try and help even if there was a language barrier, quite your average person would just kind of shy away from it. So yeah, that I really liked. But again, I liked how much cheaper everything was over there. I know yen is measured in huge amounts, and Japan has this notorious reputation for being expensive. It's not. It's really not. Like, when you actually convert the currency, compared to what you pay over here, particularly in London, but everything in London is expensive. Yeah, it's really cheap over there. Like, it's the whole reason I got things like the Final Fantasy 9 soundtrack is because everything's so much cheaper over there. Oh my gosh. But this is just things in comparison to living in England. Things I disliked. That's kind of hard to say, because you know, my sister had been living over there long enough that, you know, she'd experienced Japanese culture enough that there were plenty of things that she, you know, preferred back home to living over there. But there's plenty of things over there that she preferred to living over here. But you know, I wasn't really out there long enough to pick up on anything that I particularly disliked compared to over here. But that's a different. You know, I could do a whole video on this sort of thing. But you know, I know Japan isn't perfect, and I'll probably think of like tons of things that I think are done better over here than well, I disliked when compared to over here, like after I stopped this video. But off the top of my head, I can't think of anything. If I were Banjo, who would be my Kazooie? Well, I guess Yuki has to be my my Kazooie. Sorry, he's gonna find that hilarious, because like in our Banjo-Kazooie LP we discuss about how Kazooie basically does everything for you and carries you through everything, and so he's gonna find that hilarious now, thinking that he's the one that carries me. And he's probably gonna say in his comment now, yeah, I'm the one who carries you through everything, I'm the one who does all the work. What are you talking about, mate? That's just true. You'd be nothing if it weren't for me. Zeus Strider asks, hello, I used to watch your videos a very long time ago on your other channel, and for various reasons I had to stop, and ever since I've been looking for your channel. It wasn't until recently that I found it. So my question is, I wonder if you could do a summary of your plotline. I really appreciate it, thank you. Summary of my plotline is absolute rubbish. That's the summary. Honestly, I was trying to do something that I was not in a position to do. I was reaching beyond my limits, trying to be something I'm not. I mean, I don't necessarily completely regret doing it, because I did learn a lot from the experience, but it wasn't something that I should have attempted, given the position I'm in currently. So really, don't really pay it any go. Just consider it a minor, tiny thing. Just focus on what the main focus on most of the videos are. You know, and just pretend things like shadowboxing and whatnot don't exist. Because honestly, it's nonsensical. It's nonsensical bullshit, honestly. TimTam2400 asks, 1. How many Studio Ghibli films do I have on DVD, and which would I say is my favourite? Let's see. Just look at my DVD rack. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I have 10 Ghibli films on DVD. I know that's not a heck of a lot, but it's still plenty. Which one I say is my favourite? That's really hard to say, because you really can't go wrong with a Ghibli film. Except maybe Totoro. Yeah, it's really hard to say, because you can't really go wrong with Ghibli. If I had to pick two favourites off the top of my head, I'd say it's either a toss-up between... I know this is a cliche one, because everybody says this. It's either Spirited Away or The Cat Returns. Both of those are really good. But honestly, I love all of them. You can't go wrong with a single Ghibli film, honestly. So really, it's very hard to pick a favourite. So anyway, 2. If I were to meet Shantae in real life, what would be the first thing I'd say to her? Okay, I'm sorry to say this answer isn't going to be what you think it's going to be. I know in the old days I would have gone to this whole thing of, oh Shantae, oh yeah, oh I love you so much. I'm afraid I've got some bad news. It's not going to be the answer you think it's going to be. It's not going to give you the justification you think it's going to give you. My first words to Shantae would most likely be, ma'am, could you please put some more clothes on, because I don't think the way you're dressed is very appropriate for this kind of place. That would probably be it. I'm sorry to disappoint, but things are different now. 3. For me specifically, what would be my dream job? I guess I'd be a hero, with sword and armor clashing, looking semi-dashing, a shield within my grip. If you know what song I'm singing, you're awesome. I'd be a hero. Dream job. I guess I'd want my book to get published, honestly, and become a famous writer. Really, I think that's things. I think that would be the ideal world for me. So yeah, I guess that would be my dream job. Question 4 is a 2-part question. Which wrestling organization, for example WWE, Raw, as if they're different things, WWF, etc., is my favourite? I don't really watch a lot of wrestling at the moment anymore, because WWE, I think, has become a bit samey at the moment. I mean, it's got some good talent in there, and, you know, I do keep up with the news. I know what's going on going into SummerSlam and whatnot, but, you know, I don't really watch a lot of wrestling at the moment, because it's just become a bit samey with WWE, and the less said about TNA Impact, the better. So, yeah, I don't really watch a lot of wrestling at the moment, so I can't really give an answer to that. But second part of the question is, who is my least favourite wrestler? Ooh, least favourite. Ooh, least favourite. I'd go with Great Khali, honestly. Great Khali was one of the most dull, boring, uncoordinated wrestlers there ever has been. I mean, obviously I wouldn't say this to his face, because the guy is a blinking giant and could turn me inside out. But yeah, I've never really cared for the Great Khali. I don't think I didn't think he was entertaining to watch. 5. Do I read fan fictions? I've read a couple. I know people think fanfics, they've got this notorious reputation for all being about yaoi, all being about yuri, all being self-insert. I know that's the immediate thought people go to, but that is actually not the case. I've actually read some that are actually really good and actually keep true to the lore and to the characters. Some are done with really such love for the product, for the original content. And I've read some really good ones. I haven't read a lot, I'll say that. I don't regularly read them. But I have read some that are really good and are done with actual love for the product. And those are the kinds I think people should be reading. Although it is funny sometimes to read some of the ones that fall into the categories I just mentioned. I've seen some that are just... I mean, Chibi Jissi and Amuro Otaku have one in particular that was really bad that we like to laugh over. But yeah, anyway, Shoka Zuluman, probably not how you're meant to say it, asks, what is my favourite anime compared to KHF's favourite anime? By and large, KHF's opinions on things are gonna be the same as mine, but done in a theatrical manner. On the rare occasion that I think differently in real life to what to what KHF thinks, on those occasions I'll have Emma pointing out how ridiculous he's being. You know, it's like the whole you know, you don't like Temasukamoto thing. I do like Temasukamoto, I love her, she's so lovable. But by and large my opinions do usually match KHF's, it's just KHF's are done in a more theatrical manner. I don't know what that gesture was I just did. The Mormon Sorceress asks, 1. What do I personally feel about Square remaking Final Fantasy VII? If I ever decide to do a Let's Play on it, make Cloud watch with me. I'm happy that they're finally doing it. I mean, I think people could get mixed up about the fact that this has been teased for so long, because that trailer for it on the PS3 was only meant to be a tech demonstration of what Final Fantasy VII would look like on the PS3. But I know rumours and stuff have circulated around ever since. But I'm glad they're finally doing it, and I mean, Final Fantasy VII is by no means my favourite, but I do like Final Fantasy VII, and I would like to see a new generation introduced to what is by and large considered the face of the franchise. So yeah, I'm happy that they're doing it. And ordinarily, I don't play HD remakes if I've got the original version, or because I really don't see the point if I've got the original version for prettier graphics. But when you look at how Lego blocky Final Fantasy VII looks, I probably will play this remake because it's going to be a complete overhaul. It's skipping over 2 generations, so I probably will, once I get a PS4, play the Final Fantasy VII remake. So I'm looking forward to that, and it would be great to actually play Final Fantasy VII with a good translation for a change. 2. What world would I like to see in Kingdom Hearts 3 or in any future Kingdom Hearts game? I do have an answer for this, but I think they've already confirmed that a character from it is at the very least going to be appearing in it. I would have loved to see like Big Hero 6 cameo in Kingdom Hearts, because I'd love to see them interact with Baymax. And seeing as Disney own both Pixar and Marvel now, so I thought it seemed possible. And I hear it's been announced that Baymax is going to be making an appearance in Kingdom Hearts 3, so I'm happy about that. So really, I've had my wish fulfilled. 3. Which is my favourite anime soundtrack, and who is my favourite anime composer, if I have one? Oh, I don't actually know a lot of composer names when it pertains to anime, actually. Yeah, that's really bad that I don't know composer names, because like there's a lot of anime with really great soundtracks, and I probably should learn the composers' names for them. Okay, so I can't actually name a composer, but there's tons of soundtracks I really like, some I thought were really good, like, ooh, let me think. I enjoyed Gurren Lagann's soundtrack. I thought that had a really, a really good soundtrack. I've been actually looking to buy that soundtrack for ages. I can't find it anywhere. I don't even know if it's even been released. Oh gosh, what else had a good soundtrack? There's so many. Like, you can't go wrong with any Ghibli soundtrack. They have great composers that work for them. Planet S had a good soundtrack. I'm just looking at my DVD rack, by the way. I don't know. Slayers had some good music. I don't know. Like, tons of anime music is just really good. So yeah, it's hard to pick one out. Oh, and the Mormon Sorceress has added one question in a separate comment. Even though you can, future reference, you can go back and edit your YouTube comments now. That's a new feature. So anyway, and also I have 2 friends who are slowly getting interested in anime after showing them Ponyo and the first episode of Ouran High School Host Club. What anime do I recommend for first timers? Ooh, that's a good question. What anime? Ooh. What I recommend for first timers? Ouran's a good place. Ouran's a good place to start. Ouran will get people introduced to the wacky concepts of anime and certain parts of the fan base. Ouran's a good place to start. First timers. School Rumble's a good one. School Rumble's a series that I think will be good for first timers. Again, it all comes down to what your friends are into. Ooh. Let me think. Oh my goddess, obviously, I love that series. Canon, also a good one if your friends want something to make them cry. Oh, and Air, and I guess Clannad as well. Let them give Clannad a go, see what they think of it. Yeah. Oh. Again, it all depends on what your friends are into. So yeah, all comes down to what your friends' preferences, really. Xgrasiglu, probably not how I meant to say it, asks, who do I, or rather my avatar / Robin, like to marry in Fire Emblem Awakening? Right, okay, this is a good question, because, like, okay, because my waifu in Fire Emblem Awakening has actually changed drastically. When I first played the game, I married my avatar off to Lissa, because I love Lissa. Lissa is so lovable. Lissa is a treasure, darling. I married it off to Lissa, who I've now found out might actually be underage, so I think I'm in trouble there. When I first did that, I married him off to Lissa, but I think I made too hasty of a decision there, because I hadn't really got to know certain other characters in terms of, what their personalities were, because not all of them get the best of introductions in that game, and now now I would consider my waifu in that game, who I'd marry my avatar off to. I know, again, I know it's a cliche answer, but I'd probably go with Cordelia, because Cordelia, like, the reason is, like, Cordelia is so much like me, it's actually frightening at times. Not the whole being perfect at everything thing, because that definitely doesn't apply to me, but it's just in terms of how her general personality works and how her general, like, compassion towards others work. I'm not trying to toot my own horn when I say that, but you know, it's just how her general, like, personality actually works, and her insecurities and whatnot. I can really relate back to my own. I think she's a really relatable character and would be my ideal imagining of a significant other. So yeah, I'm part of the Cordelia Club. I would go with Cordelia, and I'm sorry, Lissa. I'm really sorry, Lissa, but apologising to Game Data now. I think I might just be losing it. But you know, I like Lissa as well, and you know, I don't regret marrying my avatar after her, because I do like her as well. But subsequent playthroughs, I'll go with Cordelia. If you want to know who I married because I did do a second file with a female avatar, and I did marry her off to one of the guys. If you want to know who my husbando was in Fire Emblem Awakening with my female avatar, I married her off to Frederick. I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me because it's illegal to marry the female avatar off to anybody but Chrom. I can't marry her to anybody but Chrom. It's illegal. I'll get in trouble. I know a lot of people support that. I like their support builds, I really do, but come on people, Frederick is a man's man. Yeah, Frederick is a man's man. Frederick might actually be the most badass character in the game. When he's introduced, even I go, ha! Like, Frederick's a man's man. Oh god, like, Frederick can impregnate a woman just by looking at her. He's that much of a man. So he's who I paired up with my female avatar, because Frederick is the man. Frederick's the guy. Frederick is a man's man. Okay, 2, have I played any other Fire Emblem games? If so, what are my opinions on them? Fire Emblem Awakening was, like with many others, my introduction to the franchise, because I heard about how good it was. So I haven't actually played a lot of the other games in the franchise, but I did recently download the Fire Emblem game on the Game Boy Advance, which was the first one we got here in the West. I know it wasn't the first game, but it was the first one we got here in the West. So I recently downloaded Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance on my Wii U, and I've been very much enjoying so far. That's been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying that game, but really those are the only 2 I've played. But I do plan on playing other games. Like, I will download Sacred Stones on the Wii U at some point. You know, I'm very much looking forward to Fates. I really want to discover more about this franchise. So yeah. 3, am I looking forward to Fire Emblem Fates? Yes, I'm looking forward to Fire Emblem Fates. 4, what are my favourite TV shows that aren't anime? I don't watch a heck of a lot of TV anymore because there's a lot of crap on. But there are 4 particular things I do go out of my way to watch, and that would be Arrow, The Flash, Yonderland, and some people are going to hate me for saying this, but I do like this show. I'm sorry, I do like this show. Big Bang Theory as well. Those are the only, like, 4 things I actually will go out of my way to watch. But other than that, I don't watch a lot of TV anymore. 5, if Angel Beats and Little Busters were no longer banned from... Oh god, did I really say they were banned from my channel? Oh gosh. Oh, I did a lot of stupid things. Oh, 5, if Angel Beats and Little Busters are no longer banned from your channel, do you plan on watching either of them, as well as June Mioda's, said that wrong, sorry, newest anime, Charlotte, once it's dubbed, of course. Again, the dubbing rule doesn't apply anymore. The dubbing rule, don't worry about that, it doesn't apply. Some of the concepts of Angel Beats I don't think I'd particularly appreciate, so I'm not planning on watching that, but people can bring it up on my channel because I know a lot of people like it. But some of the concepts I don't think are right for me to watch. But you know, Little Busters I'll definitely be watching at some point in the future. This new series Charlotte, yeah, I'll give it a go, yeah. I'd definitely give it a watch, absolutely. John Alspal, I'm sorry, I probably said your name wrong, who sent me like 20 questions last time, like literally 20 questions, says, don't worry, I'm only asking 3 this time. 1. Is there any series out there I feel deserves to be adapted into an anime or animated series, or alternatively an anime out now in Japan right now that I feel they can't get a dub quick enough? Again, dubbing rule doesn't apply anymore, but obviously there will be some that I wish would get licensed. Although actually, I don't really have an answer to that. There is one series that I would like to get adapted into an anime. Just give me a sec. One series I know that doesn't have a anime yet. I know it has a live action drama series, which I might give a watch at some point, but I'm gonna give up every last shred of my manhood by saying this. One series I would like to see get adapted into an anime is Otoman, the manga Otoman, or is it Ottoman? I don't know if the O is meant to be strong, is Otoman. Real men read shoujo, alright? Real men read shoujo! Otoman's a really good story, I have to admit, it is a really, really good story, and I've really been enjoying reading it. I don't have all the volumes just yet, I need to get back to reading it, but Otoman, it's a really, really good story, and I really want to see this get adapted into an anime. And if it does get adapted into an anime, and if it does get dubbed, I do want Asuka to be voiced in the English dub by Johnny Young Bosch, because if only because of the striking resemblance he bears to Ichigo Kurosaki. This image doesn't really show it, but he does look so much like Ichigo Kurosaki. It's actually, it's mind-blowing. So yeah, only Johnny Young Bosch may do his voice when it does. If it does get animated, it does get dubbed, but this is a hypothetical situation. 2. Do I ever Mystery Science Theater 3000 anything I watch, not just anime, with my friends while I'm watching it, or do I just appreciate what I'm watching too much to do that? Yeah, I do tend to do that when I'm watching things with friends, actually. We do tend to do our riffs, we do tend to heckle things just to laugh. Yeah, that is something me and my friends and family do tend to do. I don't know, maybe I'll do a video where I do that at some point, but yeah, that is something we tend to do. Not so much when I'm watching alone, obviously, but yeah, it's something we tend to do. 3. Why isn't my cousin on your show/channel more often? Actually, the 2 of us are planning for him to be a more permanent part of things at some point in the future. We do have some things in the works, so the 2 of us will be doing more together in the future, so yeah, look forward to that. One-Eyed Dragon Party. I do beg your pardon? One-Eyed Dragon... Do you mind? I am a respectable man! Nobody probably got the implication I'm making there. Anyway, One-Eyed Dragon Party asks, what older game would I want remade onto current gen consoles or handhelds? Ooh, I'd like to see Alex Kidd make a comeback, honestly. I'd like to see Sega try again with Alex Kidd, because let's face it, they keep... at the moment they're very hit and miss with Sonic, so I'd like to see them bring back Alex Kidd or any of their other old franchises back and give them another go. I mean, come on guys, I think people are kind of getting a little bit sick of Sonic, so, you know, let's see you try again with something else. 2. Have I experienced the anime/manga Hetalia? Who is my favourite country/character? What do I think of Britain's portrayal and character design in it? I've not watched Hetalia. I'm never going to watch Hetalia. Not because I think it's controversial or anything, but because if I critique it even slightly, fanboys are going to eat my face off, so I'm never going to watch Hetalia. 3. Of all the conventions I've attended, which one was my favourite and most memorable? Well, obviously MCM's the one I attend the most frequently. So, you know, that's the, you know, I'd say that's probably the most memorable because it's the biggest one. I've been to the London Anime... not London Anime. Well, I go to the London Anime convention quite regularly, which is... it's okay for what it is. You know, it's pretty small, but it is... it's okay for what it is. I've only been to the London Film and Comic Con convention once, and that was on a Friday. I've been to that once, and that was alright. I would like to start going to that more often, because there were a lot of factors about it that I thought were actually done better than how MCM does it. Though there were other things that I think MCM did better, but you know, MCM would probably always be my go-to con. You know, that's always going to be my go-to con. There's not that many that I know of. People can tell me others in the comment section if they like. There's not that many that I know of that go on in London. Keep that in mind, I said in London. But, yeah, there's not that many that I know of. So I don't attend a great many, but, you know, maybe sometime in the future I'll, you know, travel to various cons, you know, not just around the country, but around, you know, various other places as well, so... Yeah, you never know what the future holds. Suwat asks, worst anime I've seen, best. Well, at least you're to the point, I'll say that much. But I've already answered these. Worst anime I've seen, Love Hina, best. At the moment, Oh My Goddess, but that's probably going to change. Phoenix Flame Guardian asks, 1. Who is my favourite anime protagonist? Keiichi Morisato. 2. Who's my favourite anime antagonist? It's a toss-up between either Kyubey or Ion from Chrono Crusade. That's a tough one to answer. Ion's, I think, more sinister, but Kyubey's evil in the sense that he really doesn't see how what he's doing is evil, and Kyubey does eat himself. So, that's a tough one. It's a toss-up between those two. 3. Who is my favourite anime supporting character? Oh, favourite supporting character. I don't know, Leron from Gurren Lagann. 4. Have I seen the anime Dog Days? No, but the name doesn't bode confidence. But thank you for the recommendation. I probably will give it a watch in the future. Dokimon Studios asks, 1. Have I seen any recent Western animated shows and or / movies? I went to see Inside Out just a couple of days ago, which I absolutely loved. I loved Inside Out. Inside Out was freaking amazing, and honestly, I would say it's probably more appealing to an adult audience than it is kids. I would very much say Inside Out is a. I would very much say Inside Out is actually an adult's film that's wrapped in a kid's film's blanket. Honestly, because I think there is so much more for adults to get out of that film than there is for children. Because there are some themes in there that children aren't going to get. So yeah, I saw that recently. 2. What Western animated shows / movies did you like seeing as a kid? As a kid, like as an Aspie child, like I loved, like in terms of movies, like animated movies, I loved Toy Story as a kid. I watched the crap out of that film, and because of having an Aspie memory, as a child, I knew that film word for word, and I probably could still recite certain scenes from it, from memory. I knew that film word for word. I watched it so often as a kid. As far as cartoons on TV went, I watched, you know, obviously I watched, you know, older anime like Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z, but like, oh wait, you specifically said Western, didn't you? Sorry, that was Japanese. Western shows, like, I watched all the standards. I watched DuckTales, I watched Rescue Rangers, I watched the Rugrats, I watched what else did I watch? I watched Goof Troop, I watched I watched a lot of the standards. I watched the animated Batman. I watched things like Batman. I watched Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, as it was called over here. I think I watched a couple of episodes of Gargoyles. I don't think I watched it religiously though. Oh gosh, I watched a lot when I was a kid. I watched a lot of Ed, Edd n Eddy when I was a child, and again, that's another show I still do regularly quote from heart. I watched a lot of Ed, Edd n Eddy. Beast Wars was another one I watched a lot. I watched the crap out of Beast Wars. I mean, that show was amazing. I mean, primitive though the animation is, nowadays, when I was young, that blew my mind. And as you probably gathered earlier from my Death Battle answer, I watched a lot of Reboot as well. Reboot was amazing. Reboot was just incredible. And again, I know CGI cartoons are commonplace these days, but you know, at the time, I think that was the first like actual fully CGI children's cartoon to be broadcast on TV. I might have that fact wrong, but I think I heard that somewhere. You know, so while it might be commonplace now, it was a new concept when I was a kid. It was unheard of, and though the animation may seem primitive now, when I was young, that blew my mind. That blew my mind seeing that. That was amazing for the time. And I know it hasn't aged well, but that blew my mind when I was a kid. But anyway, I've rambled on about this. I watched the standards really. I watched pretty much anything anybody else on the internet who grew up in that time period watched. Question 3: what is, in my opinion, the worst Western animated movie? Ooh, gosh, that's a hard one to say. Ooh, yeah. I know a lot of people would would answer this by saying Cars 2, but I haven't actually seen it. I've only seen the first one, and quite honestly, it sounds like that's a good thing. Ooh, worst Western animated movie. Transformers 2: Revenge of the Fallen. Because let's face it, that was mostly CGI robots. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was too much focus on the humans. That was one of the major problems with it, and all of those films. Oh, the worst part is I went to see that film in the cinema and it was dreadful, it was awful, one of the worst films I've seen, and then I got told off for saying it was bad. I'm serious, people told me off for saying it was bad. I was like, did you have a concussion or something? Oh gosh. But that's not really an animated film, I was saying that as a joke. Oh gosh, worst animated film that I've seen. Any of the Land Before Time sequels? Tuzo Ortiz, I probably said that wrong, so I said, well, can I marry you? Yeah, sure, if you want to. 2, why not? I already said yes, but honestly, I think you could do better than me, honestly. And finally, Sierra Kahana. Oh, they actually said at the beginning, if I answer this question, can I simply refer to them as Hana? Okay, so Hana asks, they do say my username may be too difficult to pronounce. Look, I've mispronounced pretty much every username I've tried to say in this video, so really that's not a worry. I was curious about what you think about Soul Eater. I don't know if you've seen it or not. If not, then I seriously recommend it. I haven't seen it, I'm afraid. But thank you very much for the recommendation. I do appreciate the recommendation, and in fact that one has been recommended to me many times, so I may check it out in the future, so thank you very much for the recommendation. And that's about it. That is it. That's all the questions, and boy did this video go on a while. Oh, this is going to be a challenge to edit. Yeah, thank you very, very much everybody for all the questions that you sent in. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully we can do another video like this at some point in the future. More content is on the way, and hopefully I can get more KHF stuff done, but if not, I will definitely do more out-of-character stuff. So thank you very much everybody for all your support and all your questions, and I will see everybody later.